Hold up, Lil Durk. Crying? Yeah, you heard that right. The same Durkio who told the world he was untouchable. Now on the verge of breaking down. What went down behind those hidden studio doors has fans, haters, and even the streets talking louder than ever before. Because apparently, the tapes don't lie. King Von's mom, heartbroken, furious, and done staying silent, just dropped emotional bombs that sent the internet into meltdown mode. She's calling out names, exposing secrets, and she claims Lil Durk knew who was behind Von's death all along. Now Durk, he's finally breaking his silence. Cameras caught him wiping tears, whispering words the world wasn't supposed to hear. But trust me, once you hear what he said, you'll never look at him the same way again. Was this real emotion or damage control? Is Durk trying to clear his name or save his career? Because if what insiders are saying is true, this is about to be the biggest scandal in Chicago rap history. Grab your popcorn. Fam, this ain't just music beef anymore. It's betrayal, fame, and a mother's revenge. They say silence speaks louder than words, but in the world of rap, silence can destroy you. When Lil Durk disappeared from the spotlight for a few weeks, fans assumed he was just working on new heat, but the streets whispered something darker. Hidden tapes, late-night meetings, and a mother's tears were about to rip through every illusion the internet had built around him. Everyone remembers that night King Von, gone too soon. Another casualty in the endless cycle of fame and street loyalty. At first, the community grieved together, united by pain. But grief has a short shelf life online. And soon the comments turned into accusations. Where was Durk? Why didn't he step in? And most dangerously, did he know? Rumors started on fan pages, but spread like wildfire to blogs hungry for clicks. Someone posted a blurry screenshot claiming to show Durk in a meeting with people tied to the case. Another claimed an anonymous source from the label said Durk had been warned days before the shooting. None of it verified, of course. But verification doesn't trend, outrage does. The more Durk stayed silent, the louder the noise grew. His last public statement before the storm was a cryptic tweet: "Loyalty gets you killed faster than hate." That single line was dissected, analyzed, and quoted across every corner of the internet. Fans said he was grieving. Critics said he was confessing. Then came the so-called hidden tapes. A random account on a Backalley gossip forum claimed to have exclusive studio footage of Durk talking about the night of Von's death. The clip was short, grainy, and probably fake, but the damage was instant. He said he knew, screamed the captions across TikTok. People clipped it, slowed it down, added subtitles that fit their own version of truth. Behind the scenes, fake insiders emerged overnight. One industry source told a podcast that Durk had been warned by a mutual friend to keep quiet or lose everything. Another self-proclaimed ex-bodyguard said Durk was in too deep to speak. The more absurd the claim, the more people believed it. Enter King Von's mama, woman already carrying unbearable grief. She began speaking out, demanding answers, questioning everyone around her son's circle. Her words were raw, emotional, and real. But online, people twisted them into accusations. She said Durk knew, became the headline of the week. Clips of her interviews were taken out of context, spliced with dramatic music, and turned into viral reels. And then something unusual happened. Durk's inner circle started breaking apart. Artists who once shouted him out on every track suddenly went quiet. A few unfollowed him on social media, small digital gesture that meant everything in a culture obsessed with optics. He's losing allies. One blog declared, "They're distancing before the truth drops." The irony, nobody even knew what truth meant anymore. Every claim contradicted another. Some said the tapes were a setup from a rival label. Others believed the police were behind the leak. One YouTuber even claimed it was an AI deepfake meant to destroy Durk's reputation before his album launch. But here's the thing, Durk's silence wasn't helping. Fans demanded a response. The label wanted control. The algorithms fed on chaos. And in the middle stood a man who built his empire on loyalty. Now accused of betrayal. When the first emotional clip surfaced, Durk backstage, eyes red, voice trembling, it changed everything. Some said he was crying out of guilt. Others believed it was heartbreak. The video lasted only 15 seconds, but it broke the internet. He finally cracked, read one headline. He knows the truth is coming. Within 24 hours, fake reports flooded time. Alleged law enforcement documents surfaced on Reddit, naming Durk as a person of interest in a reopened case. The documents were obviously forged, wrong fonts, misspelled names, but screenshots don't come with disclaimers. They were shared thousands of times before anyone bothered to check. At this point, the scandal was no longer about facts. It was theater. Commentators on YouTube started running investigations, narrating dramatic timelines with ominous background music. At 11:45 p.m., Durk leaves the studio. At 12:10, Von is seen with, you get the idea. They built entire conspiracies from half-truths and blurred screenshots. The wildest part, it worked. Millions tuned in. Hashtags trended. People who hadn't listened to Durk's music in years suddenly became detectives. Every lyric he'd ever written was re-examined like hidden evidence. He told on himself. shouted commenters who treated song lyrics like court transcripts. Meanwhile, Durk's team tried to manage the narrative. They released a short statement denying any involvement, but nobody wanted calm explanations. They wanted drama. They wanted tears. And tears were what they got. In a leaked live stream clip, Durk finally spoke, voice cracking as he said, "Y'all don't know what it's like to lose your brother twice, once to the streets and once to the rumors." That line hit hard. Suddenly, the internet split into two camps. Those who saw a broken man and those who saw a guilty conscience. And that's when the real chaos began. Because right after that another clip surfaced, this time from an anonymous account claiming to be part of the camp. It showed snippets of conversations, muffled voices, and what sounded like Durk saying, "They told me not to say nothing." Out of context, it was incriminating gold. Blogs pounced on it instantly. They looped it, enhanced the audio, added captions, and sold it as the smoking gun. But was it real? No one could prove it. Still, proof didn't matter anymore. In the world of viral scandals, perception is the only reality that counts. Even King Von's mom, when asked about it on an emotional livestream, simply said, "I just want the truth." If he knew something, he should have said something. That single sentence reignited the storm. Screenshots of her tears filled every timeline. Her pain became public property. The fans who once screamed "OTF forever" now filled the comments with betrayal memes and hashtags demanding justice. Durk's merch sales dropped overnight. Sponsors paused collaborations. And rival rappers, always waiting for an opportunity, sported, dropping subliminals. One even released a diss track that opened with the line, "Tapes don't lie, but your tears might." The track went viral in hours, feeding the circus. Everyone had an opinion. No one had facts. But behind the flashy headlines and fake evidence, something else was happening. Quietly, lawyers started making calls. Publicists began crafting damage control plans. Durk's label hired a crisis management firm, the kind that cleans up celebrity scandals before they ruin careers. Still, the pressure kept building. For Durk, it was no longer just about defending himself, it was about survival. One wrong move could turn public suspicion into career death. And yet, despite all this chaos, one question haunted everyone. If Durk truly had nothing to hide, why did he look so broken? The answer was about to unfold, but not in the way anyone expected. Because just as the world started to move on, another source stepped forward with claims that would flip the entire story upside down. They called themselves Witness X. They claimed to have been there, inside the circle, the night everything went down. They promised to reveal who said what, who was warned, and who watched it all happen in silence. Whether Witness X was real or just another internet myth, their words would spark the next explosion in this never-ending storm. When the name Witness X first appeared on social media, nobody took it seriously. The account had no profile picture, no followers, just a single post. The truth about that night will destroy everything you believe about Lil Durk. Within minutes, screenshots spread like wildfire. Was it real? Was it bait? Nobody cared, because in this scandal, mystery was currency. Podcasts began dissecting every pixel of that post. "It's gotta be someone close," one host insisted, adjusting his sunglasses indoors, like a budget detective. "You don't just call yourself Witness X unless you've seen something." Others were convinced it was a marketing ploy for a new track. But then the account dropped a second post, a shaky audio recording, muffled half to allegedly from the night of the shooting, a voice that sounded like Durk could be heard arguing with someone about keeping things quiet until after the drop. There was static, background noise, a slamming door. The internet didn't wait for context. He admitted it. Fans screamed. Within hours, YouTube channels titled "Full Leaked Tape, Durk Exposed by Witness X" flooded every clip used the same low-quality audio looped endlessly with dramatic captions like "Listen closely. He says it right there." Meanwhile, Durk's team went into panic mode. Lawyers sent takedown notices to every platform. But the Streisand effect kicked in. The more they tried to erase the tape, the more people believed it was real. The hashtag #WitnessXS peaks trended at #1 for 2 days straight. By day 3, the story had grown its own mythology. Anonymous insiders popped up claiming to know who Witness X really was. One blog swore it was a former engineer fired from the label. Another insisted it was King Von's old security guard. Yet another wild theory suggested it was a deep state agent using the scandal to destabilize the Chicago rap scene. Absurd, yes, but absurdity was the fuel keeping the machine alive. The fake investigative reports got darker. A so-called leaked financial audit claimed Durk had wired $50,000 to an unregistered LLC the week before Von's death. No proof, no receipts, just a blurry screenshot of a spreadsheet that looked like it was made in Microsoft Paint. Still, reaction channels treated it like gospel. $50K hush money. One commentator gasped theatrically, "You don't pay someone that kind of cash for studio time, bro." Even late-night talk shows joined in, sliding in punchlines about Durk deleting his Venmo. The scandal wasn't just underground gossip anymore. It was pop culture. Through it all, King Von's mom remained heartbreakingly calm in public. Every interview she gave felt heavier than the last. "All I want is peace for my boy," she said quietly on one morning show. But the internet twisted even that. Edits surfaced with ominous music. Captions like "She knows, listen to her tone." It was no longer about her pain, it was content. Behind closed doors, Durk was reportedly losing sleep. One of his close associates, who definitely didn't exist, told an underground blog, "He's been pacing around. Man, he barely eats. He says people are watching him." The blog called it an exclusive inside look at a collapsing superstar. Whether that associate was real didn't matter. The quote felt real enough to trend. That's when the first major public reaction hit. A massive online petition demanding an official investigation into the tapes. Over 200,000 digital signatures appeared overnight. People weren't just gossiping anymore, they wanted justice, or at least a headline that said they did. And that's when Durk finally resurfaced on camera again. No PR statement this time. No lawyer hovering off screen, just him, sitting in his car, recording a live stream at 2 a.m. The lighting was harsh, his voice low, eyes heavy. "Y'all keep saying I knew something," he said, "but all I knew was love for my brother. You don't know what it's like to wake up every day with everyone thinking you a villain." The live barely lasted 10 minutes, but that was enough. Clips exploded across TikTok. Did you see the tear roll down his face at 6:42? He blinked twice when he said brother. That's guilt. Amateur body language experts flooded timelines with freeze frames and red circles drawn around his expressions. Then came another leak, this time an email, allegedly from his label's crisis management firm, outlining Phase 2 damage control. According to the forged document, they were planning to stage a charity concert for victims of gun violence as image rehab. The email was almost comically fake, riddled with typos, but it didn't stop commentators from calling it proof. He's using tragedy for PR. One headline screamed, "Every time Durk tried to clear the air." A new leak appeared. Anonymous users posted supposed text messages between Durk and Von's manager, hinting at secret phone calls and deleted chats. Even the timestamps didn't line up, but who was checking? Viewers just wanted another twist. By now, the scandal had mutated. It wasn't just about whether Durk knew something, it was about everything else people could attach to his name. Lavish spending, tax evasion, fake philanthropy. A gossip channel claimed he spent $300,000 in one weekend buying silence. Another insisted he'd moved assets to an offshore account. Each new claim made the previous one seem tame. Public reaction became performative. Fans filmed themselves burning Durk's merch for views. Others defended him passionately, calling the whole thing a smear campaign. One influencer went viral for saying, "I don't care if he did or didn't, at least he's real about it." That clip alone got 5 million views. Truth didn't trend. Theatrics did. As the chaos reached peak absurdity, Witness X dropped one final bombshell. A short video showing a man's silhouette, heavily filtered, claiming they told him not to talk. He's scared for his life. The voice didn't even sound like anyone recognizable, but the caption read, "Message to the fans before they shut me down." Predictably, the internet lost its collective mind. News outlets that had ignored the story for weeks suddenly joined the frenzy. Anonymous source claims Durk silenced. One headline, talk shows debated whether Durk was being framed or was part of something bigger. A retired detective appeared on TV to say, "If those tapes are real, this could reopen everything." But there was still no verification. No case reopened. No evidence submitted. Just noise. Endless, profitable noise. And through that noise came whispers of a possible federal probe. Some claimed agencies were monitoring online activity connected to the leaks. Others said subpoenas were already issued. None of it confirmed, all of it repeated. The illusion of consequence kept viewers hooked. The music industry, smelling opportunity, started quietly pivoting. Rival rappers dropped tracks packed with sly references. You cry on cam, but hide behind cash. Witnesses talk, but your silence louder. It became trendbait, each bar fueling the algorithm further. Meanwhile, King Von's mom released a heartfelt statement pleading for privacy. It barely got attention. Comment sections flooded instead with conspiracy emojis and arguments about whether she'd forgiven him or not. The tragedy had become background noise in a carnival of outrage. Back in Durk's camp, internal chaos brewed. 2 producers reportedly quit, tired of being hounded online. A publicist allegedly leaked DMIs to clear their own name. Journalists fabricated anonymous interviews claiming Durk was preparing to flee the country. And then came the so-called airport sighting. A fan posted a blurry photo of someone resembling Durk boarding a private jet. "He's escaping," the caption said. Within an hour, tabloids ran headlines like Lil Durk leaves the country amid scandal. Never mind that he was later spotted performing at a festival 2 days later. The narrative had already locked in. It was a circus without a ringmaster, chaos feeding chaos. And just when it seemed like the noise couldn't get any louder, something genuinely unexpected happened. Late one night, Witness X's account vanished. No posts, no trace, no explanation. The entire archive disappeared as if it never existed. Screenshots circulated, but the original source was gone. That vacuum created a new wave of hysteria. They got him, shouted commenters. The label took him out, claimed others, took him out, claimed others. Podcasters speculated endlessly. Some said Witness X was silenced legally. Others believed he was a hoaxer, deleting evidence to avoid lawsuits. But in the digital age, vanishing only makes you more legendary. His disappearance became proof that he was real all along. And that's where the scandal reached its breaking point. People no longer cared about facts, only Would Durk confess? Would someone get arrested? Would another leak appear? The tension was unbearable and perfectly engineered for the algorithm, because right when everyone thought the story was dying, another exclusive surfaced: mysterious internal memo from a federal task force, claiming they had reopened the investigation due to newly obtained evidence. Totally fake, obviously, but nobody questioned it. Every channel, every blog, every podcast lit up. The outrage machine roared back to life, and it was at this precise moment when hysteria met exhaustion that Lil Durk made his most shocking move yet. He announced a live press conference. The caption simply read, "No more silence." The world stopped the moment Lil Durk announced the press conference. No one knew what to expect. Would he cry again? Confess? Name names? Or would it just be another PR stunt to cool down the internet before the next scandal dropped? Either way, everyone tuned in. The live stream countdown started 10 minutes, then 5, then 1. Over 3 million people were waiting. The chat flying so fast it looked like static. He better speak truth. Watch him dodge everything. Where's King Von's mom? The anticipation was a monster in itself. When Durk finally stepped up to the microphone, the room went silent. No entourage, no flashy jewelry, just a black hoodie, tired eyes, and the weight of 1,000 rumors pressing on his shoulders. He took a breath, looked at the cameras, and said softly, "I stayed quiet because I didn't want to make things worse. But now, silence hurting more than lies." Boom. The internet exploded. Commentators clipped that one line before he even finished the sentence. But Durk kept talking. He denied knowing anything about what happened to King Von that night. He called the tapes fabricated nonsense made for clicks, and insisted the so-called Witness X was nothing but an opportunist chasing clout. "Ain't no hidden tapes," he said, voice cracking again. "Ain't no payoff. Ain't no secret meetings. Just pain that never went away." For a split second, it felt real. The vulnerability, the frustration, the exhaustion, it was all there. Even his harshest critics paused. Maybe this was the truth after all. But then someone shouted a question from the back. "If you innocent, why'd you hide so long?" Durk froze. His jaw clenched. That single question sliced through his calm like a blade. "Because every time I talk," he said slowly, "y'all twist my words into whatever headline you want." He stared at the crowd, eyes heavy. "Y'all don't want the truth. Y'all want a villain." The clip went viral instantly. "Y'all want a villain" became a meme, a slogan, a remix hook on TikTok. Ironically, his attempt to reclaim control only gave the story new life. Within hours, news channels cut up the footage into bite-sized outrage segments. Lil Durk dodges key questions. Body language experts analyze guilt signs. Some even slowed down his blinking pattern, claiming he blinked faster when lying. And then, the unthinkable happened. During the Q&A portion, King Von's mom unexpectedly entered the room. No announcement, no warning, just quiet footsteps and a mother's fury. The crowd gasped. Durk turned pale. The moderators froze. Cameras zoomed in like vultures circling a carcass. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just said, "You said you loved him. Then why did you let them say he died for nothing?" The silence was deafening. Durk's voice trembled when he answered, "I didn't let nobody say nothing. I've been hurting too. I just ain't loud with my pain." It was human, honest, but the internet doesn't care about humanity, it cares about headlines. Within minutes, clips labeled confrontation at press conference dominated every platform. Some viewers accused Durk of performing sympathy. Others said the moment was scripted by his PR team. Theories spiraled out of control again. Meanwhile, the so-called federal memo that surfaced earlier turned out to be completely fake. But before anyone could correct it, dozens of channels uploaded updates claiming Durk was under surveillance. Even mainstream outlets jumped in. It was profitable chaos, and no one wanted it to end. The night of the press conference, social media split like a fault line. Team Durk versus Team Von. Supporters flooded hashtags with prayers and defense threads. Haters flooded them with memes and accusations. You'd think people were debating global politics, not a rumor built on a blurry recording and a deleted account. Then came the leaked, demisopposed messages between Durk and an unnamed journalist offering exclusive access in exchange for silence. Completely fabricated, but they looked real enough for outrage. Screenshots spread faster than facts ever could. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be part of the story. Rappers dropped response freestyles. Influencers did reaction lives. Conspiracy TikTok turned the scandal into a cinematic universe, complete with charts, red string diagrams, and fake timelines. In the middle of the noise, one local Chicago newspaper tried to publish an actual investigative piece debunking everything. Nobody clicked it. No one wanted the truth, they wanted the performance of truth, and the performance kept getting louder. 2 days later, Durk's house was reportedly raided, according to a viral Twitter post with a photoshopped image of police cars. It wasn't real, of course, but you couldn't tell that to the comment section. He's done. They finally got him. Karma never misses. At this point, even Durk's management realized they weren't fighting rumors anymore. They were fighting an entire ecosystem designed to destroy nuance. Every attempt at clarity became fuel for more chaos. But then came the twist nobody saw coming. A hacker group calling itself TruthFeed claimed they'd found the original source of the Witness X uploads, and it wasn't anyone in Durk's circle. According to their post, the leaks came from a rival marketing firm running viral engagement experiments. Basically, the entire scandal may have started as a social media test gone wrong. No one believed it at first. Then screenshots emerged, showing private emails between influencers coordinating talking points for the drama. That part actually seemed plausible. The line between marketing and manipulation had blurred so much that even fake news had a PR team. When reporters asked Durk's camp about the hacker claims, they refused to comment, not because it wasn't true, but because the truth didn't matter anymore. The story had already lived its full life cycle: birth, outrage, hysteria, exhaustion. But Durk still couldn't rest. His brand was damaged, his name dragged through digital mud. Every post he made afterward was flooded with "Where's Witness X?" jokes and conspiracy threads. The internet doesn't forgive it, just gets distracted. And that distraction came soon after. When another rapper's scandal hit, the crowd moved on like vultures chasing fresher meat. One day, Durk was the devil. The next, he was yesterday's algorithm. Still, the shadow lingered. In interviews, he avoided the topic completely. When asked about Vaughn, he just said, "That's forever love." Some things too deep for cameras. His fans called it maturity. Critics called it evasion. Months later, a documentary channel released a special investigation on the entire saga, complete with dramatic music and grainy It racked up millions of views, feeding the beast one last time. The narrator ended it perfectly. In the end, we may never know what's real, but we do know this controversy sells, and silence screams louder than truth. The irony was poetic. The same people who manufactured outrage were now profiting from dissecting it. Everyone cashed in commentators, click farms, meme pages, everyone except the two names at the center: King Von, gone forever, and Lil Durk, trapped in the echo chamber, his fame built. As the credits rolled on that documentary, fans flooded the comments again, demanding closure. Drop Part 2. We still don't know who killed Von. Where's Witness X? The cycle started to flicker back to life, faintly but predictably, and somewhere out there, another anonymous account posted a single cryptic message: "You think it's over." The next drop could make the tapes look like nothing. Instantly, it went viral. The beast wasn't dead, it was just sleeping. Because in the digital age, scandals don't end, they reboot. Every silence becomes a cliffhanger. Every rumor, a trailer for the next chaos drop. And the audience, always ready, popcorn in hand, waiting for the next exclusive. That's the game Lil Durk tried to win, and the game that almost devoured him. And there you have it, another day. Another scandal the internet swore was the truth. From hidden tapes to fake witnesses to entire PR firms built on chaos. This wasn't a story anymore, it was entertainment disguised as justice. But here's the real question. What did we actually learn? Did Lil Durk prove his innocence, or did he just outlast the storm? Did King Von's mom ever get the peace she deserved, or did the world turn her grief into clicks and comments? Because at the end of the day, maybe the truth isn't what we're all chasing. Maybe it's just the next viral moment, the real crime. Not what happened that night, but what we all turned it into. A show, a hashtag, a monetized tragedy. And guess what? We'll do it again next week with somebody else. So tell me this, who do you believe? Durk, the broken man fighting ghosts? Or the internet, the machine that feeds on silence and sells sympathy by the view? Drop your take in the comments. Because this story isn't over until you decide who's guilty. And if you think this was wild, just wait until the next leak drops. You know it's coming. So hit that like button if you're still watching. Smash subscribe if you want the unfiltered breakdown before anyone else. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because in this world, the truth doesn't wait. It trends. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay loud, and remember, the streets talk, but the internet screams.